Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, episode number 82, the show where I give you my thoughts on some of the biggest stories happening in the past week in the world of cord cutting. This is my opinion on stories I thought needed a little bit more in-depth look at them, or ones where you had questions I wanted to answer. If you want to learn more about these stories in the show notes, down below I'll put a link to each story so you can read about them for yourself. If you're new here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing here, and hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Today though, I want to dive into a few particular stories. First, one quick deal to get in on before it's likely gone. Amazon has their Toshiba Insignia Fire TV Edition smart TVs on sale for $299. Doing this because they just announced a new Toshiba smart TV that adds Dolby Vision HDR, where the old versions were HDR10, which to me looks great, and it's a great price. But if you want the Dolby, you can get the Dolby Vision, but it's a lot more money. If you're looking for a cheap one, I'll put a link to those TVs down below from Insignia and Toshiba to get a $299 50-inch 4K HDR TV with the Fire TV built in. So check that in the show notes down below. Alright, first story up of the day. PlayStation Vue has less than 10 days now to strike a new deal with AMC, Discovery, NBC Universal, and Turner Networks before they go dark. PlayStation Vue announced earlier this month that they had until the end of this month to strike these deals, and they have it to the end of next month to strike a deal with the NFL Network. I talked about this. We had a lot of questions about what this means and about Sony's commitment to PlayStation Vue. And I really wanted to talk about the latter a little bit real quick. First though, let's dive into the what this means. So basically, this means negotiations are happening, which happens all the time. What may be a little bit new here is the fact that all these services are being renewed at the same moment, probably because when Sony first initially announced the service, 3-4 years ago now, I'm trying to remember, they struck a deal with all these services right off the bat before the service launched to get this. And now they're all coming up at the same time. Where with cable networks, they're typically a little bit more spread out because of the nature of contracts and, cable companies have been around for so long. But, this is very normal. This happens with cable and more. The interesting thing here for Sony is, and one quick note, if they do go black, I expect most of these would return. If Discovery goes black for a little while due to contract issues, I would expect more than likely than not it would return. Just like, DirecTV and Comcast and Spectrum all have these blackouts too, and then the channels typically return. But what I do want to talk about is there's been a lot of talk of how committed is Sony to PlayStation Vue, and I think this will tell us. Sony, for a while, was kind of going back and forth on it. Early last year, a lot of people were like, is Sony committed here? Then late last year, they really doubled down. They invested. They struck partnerships with Apple. They struck partnerships with Amazon. They put a huge amount of marketing budget. If you watched college football last year, you probably saw a lot of PlayStation Vue commercials promoting the idea you didn't need a PlayStation Vue to use PlayStation. You didn't need PlayStation to use PlayStation Vue, excuse me. I haven't had my coffee this morning. You can tell it's impacted me. But now that once again has kind of slowed down. We haven't seen as many ads, so they're still running, which is great to see. If Sony wants out, this is the moment to do it. I don't believe that though. There's a lot of people that have posted and talked about the idea that Sony's going to let these deals expire. Sony let the NES, the Regional Sports Network, expire. Sony will let this expire, and then we will just see Sony be the first one to shut down. I don't believe that's going to happen. I think Sony is very committed to PlayStation Vue. I think they are negotiating here to try to get a good deal to avoid a price hike, which may result in a blackout. They seem to be very, right now, set in stone on the idea that they don't want a price hike, from what I'm hearing from inside the company, and that they are going to negotiate. Now, if they do want out, this is the perfect moment to do it, right? Let a good chunk of their channel contracts expire, say, sorry, PlayStation Vue was fun, experiment, didn't work out, we're shutting down. I still wish that Sony would give this a good try. I wish they would drop the PlayStation part of the name. I think they would overnight see an explosion in subscribers. So explosion may be a big word, an overnight jump in the number of subscribers. But we'll have to wait and see what Sony does here, because they really are in an interesting position. They are one of the original streaming services. According to reports, they still don't have 1 million subscribers. And newer comers like YouTube TV, Hulu, and more have skyrocketed past PlayStation Vue. Probably a lot to do with the lack of confusion over the name, just to be honest with you, because PlayStation Vue does check a lot of the same boxes that YouTube TV and PlayStation or Hulu offer, but PlayStation Vue has the PlayStation in the name, and I still get emails about the fact that, oh, I would love PlayStation Vue, but I don't have a PlayStation. So I wanted to kind of, if I could give you any two takeaways here is, we'll learn how committed Sony is to this service by the end of this month. 2, I don't think Sony's going to walk away from PlayStation Vue. Sony has deep pockets. They've talked about the fact that while PlayStation Vue may not be making them a ton of money, it may not have the subscribers they probably want, it does give them insight into what Americans are watching, which allows them in their movie and TV studios to develop movies and TV shows that people enjoy, because they can accurately see what people are watching through PlayStation Vue. So I'll be very interested to see what happens here. But just don't overreact to the fact that PlayStation Vue has a ton of channels coming up. So I'd love to know, do you use PlayStation Vue? Do you like it? Why do you pick PlayStation Vue over others? Let me know. Next up, AT&T's new WarnerMedia streaming service could be a great cord-cutting tool. I really wanted to dive into this because a lot of people seem very confused about why I would say that. So last weekend I posted this editorial, and basically I don't think AT&T's WarnerMedia $16 or $17 on-demand service is a bad idea, especially if you look at from the point of view of it being a Hulu or targeting HBO there. HBO is $15 a month. This service reportedly include all HBO content, add in Cinemax, plus a ton of WarnerMedia content for $16 to $17 a month. This is a pretty interesting move because, yes, $16 or $17 a month on its front is a ton of money. But HBO has millions, and I do mean millions of subscribers. If they get a small fraction of those subscribers to upgrade HBO Now to HBO or WarnerMedia's HBO Plus, WarnerMedia streaming, whatever they may call it, that's an extra good chunk of money right there. 2 million people subscribe for an extra $2. That's an additional $2 million on top of HBO's typical income. I would really encourage people to think about this new WarnerMedia service as a service that's targeting HBO subscribers. In the same way that ESPN Plus targets sports fans, not necessarily cord cutters. I would say, hey, this new WarnerMedia service targeting HBO fans, whether they be on cable or whether they be a cord cutter through HBO Now. I wouldn't be surprised if HBO Now was rolled into this too. AT&T could very well say, hey, if you want to use HBO Now, it's going up $1, it's going up $2 a month, but you're going to get all this other content. If you don't want it, you have to subscribe to HBO through a Comcast, through a PlayStation Vue, etc. But I'd love to know, are you an HBO subscriber? Would you be upset if HBO Now went up $1 or $2? If it got rolled into this new WarnerMedia service? It really doesn't make a lot of sense to have HBO Now at $15 with all that same content in the new WarnerMedia service at $16, $15, so $2 more, let's say. So I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. Would you freak out about that? Would you leave HBO if they did that? Leave me a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Last story up of the day, kind of a short week a little bit, but I wanted to address a couple things that happened this week. So first, we learned recently that AT&T was going to roll in DirecTV Now into the new WarnerMedia service eventually. We talked about this many times. I won't go over it, but Hulu asked on demand for WarnerMedia at this price, $16, let's say, live TV at a more expensive price if you want live TV. Then AT&T's president of communications came out and said, hey, president of mobility and entertainment came out and said, hey, that beta box you've been testing for DirecTV Now, the Android TV box we've been having DirecTV Now players use, guess what? That's really just a beta test for our new DirecTV Thin client. So we're launching a DirecTV streaming service under the DirecTV brand, not DirecTV Now, and this box will be that device. The idea here is we don't have to send a truck to your home. You just get this box in the mail that you will pay for. He said it'll be a cheap, affordable device. We'll see what AT&T considers cheap and affordable. That you buy, you set up, you install. We don't have to pay to send a truck to your home. And that's, according to reports, their main focus now. AT&T's president of entertainment and mobility has also said that DirecTV Now is not they've downgraded the focus on it. It's not their main focus. Their main focus is on DirecTV. It's on WarnerMedia. It's on other things. So this lines up with a report that we heard from Reuters that said that AT&T is going to try to move as many people over to streaming as they can. Anybody who eventually doesn't move or won't move or can't move, they're interested in selling them to Dish. Hey, we'll take all these satellite customers, move them over to Dish. We'll just keep all of our streaming customers, our DirecTV Thin, our DirecTV Now, WarnerMedia, whatever they may call it. I'm very interested in this. AT&T has for some time said satellite's not the future. They won't launch any new satellites. When the satellites in space die, that's it. If AT&T continues on that, if AT&T is successful and moves a vast majority of their subscribers off, I do believe that this is all going to come together and happen. When you piece all these pieces together, AT&T's CEO pushing this, AT&T's communications CEO saying they're going to merge WarnerMedia and DirecTV Now, AT&T's mobility president and entertainment president saying, hey, that beta box, well, that's for DirecTV Thin, you're just beta testing it. Hey, our DirecTV Now, not our main focus. Really does raise a red flag about DirecTV Now. Now, I have heard some people say, hey, look, you're raising rumors. I'm just reporting on what AT&T's senior executive management team, their CEOs, their presidents are saying. And AT&T has a lot of CEOs and presidents of different departments. And they all seem to have a very unified message that, hey, guess what? This is coming to an end. DirecTV Now is not our main focus. DirecTV is. The new WarnerMedia server is. If you are a DirecTV Now subscriber, I wouldn't worry about it. Probably not going to happen anytime soon. But I wouldn't be expecting any new features to really roll out. You may get some, but a lot of the things they promised, like the expanded DVR as an add-on, they pretty much removed that. They've stopped talking about it. I don't think things like that are going to happen anymore. There probably still will be app updates, feature updates, as they continue to use DirecTV Now as a beta platform to perfect what, according to all reports, will be now the DirecTV streaming service. So the app for DirecTV Now will be the DirecTV one. The streaming player for DirecTV Now will be the DirecTV streaming player, etc. So I just wanted to answer that, to try to address a lot of the confusion. I wouldn't freak out, but I would be well aware that, hey, if you use DirecTV Now, someday in the future, they're going to merge that with WarnerMedia. What does that mean for like grandfather subscribers? We just don't know. So hope that answers all your questions. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Happy summer. It's officially summer. It's like 100 degrees down here in Texas, and I'm loving it. So I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Be safe. Check back next week. I got some special videos and some guides and tips and tricks that I'm going to be working on. Thanks for hanging in here the last 2 weeks as I've been on vacation, and our videos that we often do, like, you know, top 10 new apps, top 10 features, they're going to be coming back. We have more in the works, so hang in there. I hope you all have a fantastic week. I will see you on Monday with our cord cutting today. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. Should be at 75,000 any day now. Couldn't have done it without you. Take care. Have a great day.